Hello there dear viewers, this is Trestle242 and it's time for another Sims speed build video. In this video I'm building a house for vampires based on the floor plans of an actual real Victorian house from somewhere in the 1800s. And I don't remember exactly when this house was originally designed, but it's pretty old. It's from the 1800s. And here I am just sort of building. I've changed the floor plan up a little bit. And I think that originally there were servants' quarters included, but I decided not to go with them. And I designed this house specifically for the vampire characters that are in the Vampire the Masquerade role-playing game that I play with some friends. Because, you know, I thought it'd be fun if they had their own house. And yeah, here I am just fixing the walls and making sure that the little oh, I don't know what that's called in English actually. In Swedish we call it burspråk, which I don't know what. I think the word would be bay window, but I'm not sure if bay window refers to one of these bigger ones that I built, or if it only refers to the smaller ones that are actually sized like windows. And here you can see me putting some different doors. I end up not choosing those doors because they look like sort of outdoors doors, if that makes sense. I feel like I've said the word doors too many times now. And yes, here I am putting up windows and trying to decide which windows I want. And I end up becoming pretty pleased with the ones that I chose. Such as these grand big Victorian doors with the heavy golden trimmings on them. And I changed out that window because I realized it looked ugly. And yes, I'm pretty proud. The decoration in this house is going to be very sparse, and it's also going to be a little bit of a transition between building the outside and, well, building the general sort of structure of the house and decorating it, because I had to take a break. My apologies for that. And the roofing was quite fun. I had a look at the original building's roofing, although I couldn't quite figure out from what angle I was seeing the illustration of the finished building. So I just sort of messed around with different roofs in the game, and yeah, this is what I came up with. I don't know if this is what it should actually look like, but you know, I'm not an architect, so I'm just messing around in The Sims, really. And here I am building some more columns. Just because I think they look nice. They just make the house look a little bit more finished. I don't know what it is, but something about having lots and lots of columns always makes me think of these Victorian houses. I think it's probably just because they add a lot more detail that way. That it's a little bit like, you know what they call this sort of unnecessary, ridiculous amount of filigree? They call it gingerbread because it looks a bit like the decorations on gingerbread houses, you know, made with icing. And I really like that. In Sweden we have a different word for it. We don't call it gingerbread, we call it carpenter's joy. And here I am putting on a frieze. I think that's called a frieze anyway. And now my computer is starting to rev up, and my apologies for that. And they also added some of the windows from the new pack, the My Wedding Stories pack, because I thought that those round filigreed windows looked really nice. And I make the whole house out of bricks. I think the original house was made out of wood, but I just thought bricks looked nicer. And while this is a Victorian house, it's also it's been sort of converted, I guess, into a more modern fashion, which is why there are electric lights, and also soon, as you will see, indoor plumbing. I try my best to make sure that everything looks nice and, you know, appropriate. This is such a weird, strange building, but I like it. I think it's quite good. And here I am making over the bathroom, making the bathroom. It still bugs me that we don't have any matching flooring for that specific wall type with the half covered in tiles wall. It's very annoying. And I decided to make the deck a sort of grey. And yes, here you can see the house. I think it looks quite good. And here I move on to furnishing, and I start with the kitchen. I know that technically vampires don't need to eat, but I figure that this house still has an old kitchen in it, you know, just for keeping up appearances, I suppose, if you ever have guests. And this is the dining room. A nice big old dining table. And I'm scrolling through to find a nice little bit of a potted plant to put on the... Yeah, and I built a library, and this is a sort of like recreational room. In the original blueprint it said that this was the billiards room. And I think it sounds ridiculous to have an entire room just for playing billiards, which, in case you don't know, is what we in Sweden call the game pool. But I added some games and things as well. And you will note that later on, when I show the pictures of this house, they will be quite different. They won't be showing just like each room, because the rooms are so sparsely decorated. What they will show instead is a picture of one of the vampires living in this house using the room, because I thought that was more fun. And the names of the vampires who live here, the characters from the Vampire the Masquerade role-playing game, are Ava, Cole, Bartholomew, and Theo. And they all have their different personalities, so I tried to sort of fit that in while I made the house, each room, so that it doesn't fit them perfectly, but it's still sort of, you can tell that I've tried to personalize the rooms a little bit. And this place here became a sort of a pipe organ room, because I mean, what vampire doesn't want a big old pipe organ to play at? This fireplace that I put over there, it's kind of annoying because it doesn't quite... They can't light it, which is very annoying, but you know, never mind. The room with the easel is Etienne's room. I did mention Etienne, right? And this room is Ava's room. This over here it's Theo's room. He's more of a sporty lad, but I couldn't fit in any exercise equipment in there. And I put up some nice painting. Did you know that I've never used a bubble blower before? And I realized that Cole, while a bit of a rebellious boy, wouldn't actually just put graffiti on the walls. He would just put up his favorite posters instead, with a bunch of stuff. And Ava also puts up some artwork in her room, but since she's more of a mature woman, she's not that young anymore. And I also decided to put some statues over there, a skeleton and another statue, since, you know, why not have some spooky statues in your house if you're a vampire? And yes, now comes the images of the house. And I must say thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, then please leave a like. or a comment, or why not both? And if you really liked it, you could always subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care now. And spooky greetings to you all. Bye.